All right, so let's get right into it. This week's crypto predictions, December 12th through the 19th. We've got a lot to cover. Bitcoin, Ethereum, the whole gang. But we're going to do more than just look at the numbers. We're going to really dig into the why behind these forecasts. So you can kind of understand what the market's whispering to us.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about these predictions is they're not just, somebody throwing darts at a board. They're actually based on a pretty sophisticated framework. It's called the Crypto Prediction Framework. And it brings together 5 different methodologies. So you're looking at the fundamentals, you're analyzing the charts. There's even a component that looks at market sentiment, how people are feeling. Right. So it's really about getting a complete picture.
Okay, so it's almost like having 5 different analysts all kind of weighing in and giving their perspective. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So let's start with the OG, Bitcoin, the king. The prediction this week is for a pretty steady week between $95,000 and $105,000. What's driving that?
Well, with Bitcoin, we're seeing this kind of push and pull happening right now. On one hand, you've got some really positive news on the regulatory front, especially with the potential for more Bitcoin ETFs to get approved.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
This is a big deal because it opens the door for more institutional investors, the big banks, the hedge funds, to really start entering the market.
Right, so more Wall Street money flowing into Bitcoin.
Exactly. And they bring stability. And, of course, a lot of capital.
Right. Makes sense. But then why the ceiling at $105,000?
Well, that's where the technical indicators come into play. They're suggesting some resistance around that $105,000 level.
Yeah.
You can kind of think of it. Like Bitcoin is trying to break through a wall. It needs more momentum to really push through.
Gotcha. And what about, I keep hearing about this greed index. How does that factor into the predictions?
The greed index is really interesting. It's essentially a measure of market psychology. It's trying to gauge, how optimistic or how greedy investors are feeling at a given moment.
So are people FOMOing into Bitcoin?
Exactly. And when that index is high, it can be a bit of a warning sign that maybe people are buying based more on hype and emotion than, sound strategy.
Right.
So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially with Bitcoin's, recent run-up.
Yeah, so a good time to ask yourself, am I getting caught up in all the hype? Or is this a real long-term play for me?
Absolutely. Understanding your own investment goals and your own risk tolerance is really crucial in this market.
All right, moving on to Ethereum. Predictions are looking quite bullish this week, with a range of $3,800 to $4,000. What's driving this optimism?
Ethereum is in a really good spot right now. It's benefiting from a bunch of positive factors. The recent Cancun upgrade has been a major catalyst that introduced some really significant improvements to the Ethereum network, making it more efficient and more scalable.
Okay, so more efficient. What does that mean for the average person out there who's thinking about, maybe investing in ETH?
Well, it translates to faster transaction speeds and lower fees. So imagine being able to, send money or make a purchase using ETH. And it happens almost instantly. And it costs you a fraction of what it used to.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that's the power of this Cancun upgrade.
So it's not just hype. There's some real, tangible improvements happening.
Precisely. And this has made Ethereum even more attractive for developers who are building decentralized applications, dApps, and for businesses that are wanting to leverage blockchain technology.
Right.
Plus, we're also seeing the approval of Ethereum-based ETFs, which further solidifies its legitimacy in the eyes of traditional finance.
So ETH is kind of like the popular kid who just keeps getting better at everything.
That's a great analogy. It's been around for a while, has a strong community, and it continues to evolve and adapt.
Cool. All right, next up we have Ripple, or XRP. The prediction here is for a fairly tight range, between $2.30 and $2.5.
Yeah.
What's the story with XRP this week?
Well, Ripple, has been through a lot in the past few years, a lot of regulatory uncertainty.
Yeah.
But finally, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see more clarity on the regulatory front, which is giving investors more confidence.
So less uncertainty equals more potentially for growth.
That's generally how it works, yeah. When investors feel more secure, they're more likely to invest. Plus, Ripple's own ecosystem is expanding, with more real-world use cases for XRP emerging, which is always a good sign.
Right. Okay, so XRP might finally be breaking free from the shadows a little bit, stepping into the sunlight. Let's move on to Solana now. Predicted to stay between $220 and $240 this week. What's influencing Solana's price action?
Solana has really gained a reputation for being a high-performance blockchain platform. It's incredibly fast. And it can handle a huge volume of transactions.
So like the speed demon of the crypto world?
You could say that. And its technology is particularly appealing for decentralized finance, DeFi, and for those decentralized applications, DApps, which are really some of the most innovative and exciting areas in the crypto space right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about DeFi and dApps these days. Yeah. Can you give us just a quick breakdown of why those are so important for a coin like Solana?
Sure. So DeFi, or decentralized finance, it's basically trying to recreate traditional financial services like lending, borrowing, and trading, but without the need for banks or intermediaries.
That's right.
It's all powered by blockchain technology. And then dApps, or decentralized applications, are built on top of blockchains like Solana, offering all sorts of functionalities from gaming to social media, even supply chain management.
Wow. So it sounds like Solana is positioning itself as the platform of choice for this next generation of financial and technological applications.
I think that's a great way to put it. And if those areas continue to grow, Solana stands to benefit significantly.
Okay, very cool. All right, let's talk about Binance Coin, or BNB. The prediction is quite bullish. Between $700 and $750, what's driving this positive outlook?
Binance, the exchange behind BNB, is playing a key role here. They're constantly innovating, introducing new features that directly benefit BNB holders. Things like lower trading fees, staking rewards, essentially incentives to hold on to your BNB.
So it's not just about the coin itself, it's about the whole ecosystem that Binance has built around it.
Exactly. And Binance has a massive user base, a reputation for being a leader in the space. Their success directly translates into BNB's value.
Makes sense. And finally, let's talk about the meme favorite, Dogecoin. The prediction is for a range of 40 to 45 cents this week. What's the story with DOGE?
Dogecoin, while initially a meme, has garnered a surprisingly passionate and loyal community.
Yeah, the Dogecoin army is pretty strong. But beyond the memes in the community, are there any fundamental factors that are driving its price?
While Dogecoin has made some progress in terms of its underlying technology, it's still primarily driven by sentiment and social media buzz.
Okay.
It's important to remember that DOGE can be incredibly volatile, and its price can be influenced by factors that might seem irrational to outsiders.
So it's a high-risk, high-reward play for those who believe in the power of memes.
You could say that. Definitely not for the faint of heart.
All right. So we've covered each of the predictions individually, but let's look at the bigger picture. If someone is looking to make some moves this week in the crypto market, how would you rank these options based on that crypto prediction framework you mentioned earlier?
That's a great question. And this is where that framework really shines, because it goes beyond just the individual forecasts. It helps us understand the relative strengths and weaknesses of each coin. Based on the framework's analysis, Ethereum comes out on top this week.
Interesting. So ETH is taking the gold medal, so to speak. Why is that?
Well, Ethereum offers this compelling combination of strong fundamentals and solid growth potential. It's got the tech, it's got the community, it's got the momentum. The Cancun upgrade has been a game changer, and that growing DeFi and dApp ecosystem built on Ethereum is only adding to its appeal.
So ETH is like the all-star athlete who's also a straight-A student.
I like that analogy. Next in line, we have Binance Coin, or BNB. It consistently performs well. And its close ties to the Binance exchange give it a real-world utility that a lot of investors find very attractive.
Yeah, so it's like investing in the company behind the coin in a way. And they're a company that's been doing quite well.
Exactly. And then we have Bitcoin, the OG of crypto. It might not be as flashy or innovative as some of these newer coins, but it's the market leader for a reason. It's got a proven track record, it's relatively stable, and it's gaining more acceptance from those institutional investors.
Bitcoin, the reliable veteran who's still got it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Solana and Ripple? Where do they fit into this ranking?
Solana is ranked 4th, primarily because of its potential for growth in the DeFi and dApp space. It's a bit riskier than the top 3, but it also offers the possibility of higher rewards.
So the high-risk, high-reward play. And what about Ripple?
Ripple is ranked 5th. It's a bit more of a steady performer. The recent regulatory clarity is a positive sign, but it's still a bit early to tell how things will play out long term.
Okay. And of course, bringing up the rear, we have Dogecoin.
Yes. Dogecoin is last on the list. While it has its dedicated community, and it can see big price swings, it's still largely driven by sentiment and speculation.
Right.
It's a high volatility play, and investors need to be aware of the risks involved.
Okay. So we've got the ranking, Ethereum at the top, Dogecoin at the bottom, and everything else falls somewhere in between. But what's the key takeaway here? What should you be thinking about as you digest these predictions in this ranking?
The most important thing to remember is that these predictions are just one piece of the puzzle. They provide valuable insights. But the crypto market is notoriously unpredictable. No one has a crystal ball.
Right, so it's like having a roadmap.
Yeah.
But knowing that there might be detours or roadblocks along the way.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial to do your own research. Understand the risks involved, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your portfolio and be prepared for the unexpected. What else? What other advice would you give someone who's trying to navigate this crazy market?
Don't get caught up in the hype. There's a lot of noise in the crypto space, but it's important to focus on the fundamentals, the long-term potential, and the real-world value that these technologies can bring.
So look beyond the flashy headlines and the meme coins. Focus on the tech, the teams, and the use cases.
Exactly. And remember, this is still a relatively young market. Things are constantly changing. It's important to stay informed, be adaptable, and be prepared for the unexpected.
Solid advice. But here's a final thought to chew on. We've seen so much innovation in the crypto space, even just in the past year. Where do you think the industry is headed in the long term? What are you excited about? What are you watching closely?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think we're still in the early stages of what's possible with blockchain technology. The potential is enormous. I'm particularly excited about the continued growth of DeFi and dApps. I think they have the power to revolutionize how we interact with financial services and technology in general.
Yeah, it is fascinating to think about how these digital currencies and these decentralized platforms could reshape entire industries.
Yeah.
It's a lot to wrap your head around,
Yeah.
but that's what makes this space so exciting. So stay curious, stay informed, and who knows, maybe you'll be part of the next big crypto revolution. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of wild to think about a meme, actually becoming this force in the financial markets. But it just shows you, the power of community and social influence.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered all the predictions, kind of one by one, but let's zoom out a little bit. Look at the bigger picture. Let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, I want to make some moves this week in crypto. How would you rank these different options based on that crypto prediction framework you were talking about?
That's a great question. And that's where the framework is really helpful because it goes beyond just, individual coin predictions and helps us understand, okay, what are the strengths and weaknesses of each of these different coins? So based on that analysis, Ethereum is coming out on top this week.
Interesting. So ETH is taking the gold medal. Why is that?
Well, Ethereum just has this really compelling combination right now of strong fundamentals and, solid growth potential. It's got the MEC, it's got the community, it's got the momentum. That Cancun upgrade we talked about has been a real game changer. And then you've got that whole DeFi and dApp ecosystem that's built on Ethereum, which is just adding to its appeal.
So ETH is like the all-star athlete who's also like a straight-A student.
I like that analogy.
Makes sense. All right, so what comes next?
Next in line, we have Binance Coin, or BNB. It consistently performs well, and its close ties to that Binance exchange give it that real-world utility that a lot of investors really like.
Yeah, it's like you're investing in the company behind the coin.
Exactly, and they've been doing very well.
They have, for sure. Okay, then there's Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin, the OG. It might not be as flashy as some of these newer coins, but it's the market leader for a reason. It's got that proven track record, it's relatively stable, and it's getting more and more acceptance from those big institutional investors.
Bitcoin, the reliable veteran, still got it.
Right.
Okay, what about Solana and Ripple? Where do they fit in?
Solana is ranked 4th, mainly because of all that potential. In the DeFi and dApp space, it's a little bit riskier than the top 3, but it also has the possibility of those higher rewards.
Okay, so high risk, high reward. And Ripple?
Ripple is ranked 5th. It's more of a steady performer. That recent regulatory clarity is good, but we still need to see how things play out long term.
Yeah, makes sense. And of course, bringing up the rear, we have Dogecoin.
Dogecoin is last on the list. It's got its dedicated community. And it can see some pretty big price swings, but it's really driven by sentiment and speculation.
Right.
It's a high volatility play, and investors need to be aware of that.
Okay, so there's the ranking. Ethereum at the top, Dogecoin at the bottom, and everything else in between. But what's the takeaway here? What should people be thinking about as they're listening to this?
I think the most important thing is to remember that these predictions are just a piece of the puzzle. They give us some insights, but the crypto market is notoriously unpredictable. No one has a crystal ball.
Right, so it's like having a roadmap, but knowing there could be some detours, some roadblocks along the way.
Exactly. And that's why it's so crucial to do your own research, understand the risks, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify that portfolio and be ready for anything. What else? What other advice would you give to someone who's trying to figure out this market?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the hype. There's so much noise in the crypto world. You really got to try to filter it out. Focus on those fundamentals, the long-term potential. What real-world value can these technologies bring?
So look beyond the,
Yeah.
flashy headlines, the meme coins and all that. Focus on the teams, the use cases.
Exactly. And it's also important to remember this is still a relatively young market. Things change all the time. Got to stay informed, got to be adaptable, and you got to be ready for those unexpected turns.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you've heard it here, folks. The predictions, the reasoning, the whole picture. Now it's up to you to decide. What's the most compelling opportunity for you? What kind of risks are you comfortable taking?
Exactly. No prediction is perfect. These insights are just a starting point. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. And as always, invest responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
But here's one final thought to leave you with. We've seen so much innovation in this space, even just this past year. Where do you see this industry headed in the long term? What are you excited about? What's on your radar?
That is the million-dollar question. And, I really think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with blockchain technology. The potential is huge. I'm really excited about DeFi and dApps. I think they could completely revolutionize how we think about finance and technology.
It's wild to think about, isn't it? These digital currencies, these decentralized platforms could really change everything. It's a lot to take in, but that's what makes it so fascinating. So yeah, stay curious, stay informed. Who knows? Maybe you'll be part of the next crypto revolution. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.